Passion Harvest. Welcome to Passion Harvest. I'm so excited you're here, where we aim to inspire you to live a passionate life. My passionate guest today is Velentaya Reece. I'm so excited she's on the show. Velentaya is a vibrational linguist who channels the language of light, the language of the Akash, and written light codes to move an individual beyond the current dimension and timeline of disharmony to one which is in alignment with the soul blueprint. Sounds amazing. A trance channel for the Sirians, Andromedans, and other groups, she is an open vehicle for many dimensions and consciousnesses, transmitting the frequency of divine love and sacred light information from source. Her work balances the physical, mental, and emotional bodies while attuning you to higher vibrational timelines of health, abundance, inner peace, joy, love, and purpose. Velentaya, towards the end of the show, will be gifting us a divine light transmission. So get ready for the opportunity to experience rapid shifts in all areas of your life. Welcome to Passion Harvest, Velentaya. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I'm excited too. We talked way back in August, I think, right?
Oh, a while ago, yes.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So what I guess I'll start, I've got so many questions to ask you, but I guess for our listeners, if you could just explain, what is the language of light?
Sure. So in simple terms, you would think of it as sound healing or frequency healing. But, I'm channeling these languages that hold sacred light information from source. And this information, it affects your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. So it's affecting your entire being, right? And it's accessed through the vibration of love. So really getting into that open heart space to bring those frequencies through for people, but also for the person receiving it to have an open heart and be in a state of trust and just relaxing into it. Because many times if you block it off, it's hard to come through. So people have a hard time trusting. So it gets you into a place of trust. And when you hear it, people think it might sound like ancient earth languages. Many times ancient Italian, Hebrew, Spanish, French, my language is kind of, I speak so many of them, so they kind of intertwine, and you might hear one in the beginning and then one will come up later and then the first one will come back. And sometimes they sound like technicals, like beeps and bops and clicks and wisps. And it can also sound shamanic or tribal. Sometimes when I'm bringing in earth languages or earth frequencies, plant energies, it can sound shamanic. So what happens is your higher self will access those frequencies and it bypasses your conscious mind. So the conscious mind cannot block it. The higher self pulls it in and gives you exactly what you need. It can look at the energy body and just say, okay, this person needs this and this is what they're going to get. This person needs that and this is what they're going to get. So it just, how do I explain it?
You're explaining really well, by the way.
Am I?
Yes.
Because it's like, it does so much. So it's like hard to kind of, but I just did this, I just finished a 6-week course with people. And so this is a good way to understand it. All 6 people over the course of 6 weeks got the same transmission. So we did group calls. And over the course of the week, they were all hearing the same thing. At the end of that, one person who, she had an eye injury and she had to have a couple surgeries. She almost lost most of her vision in that eye after these surgeries. So she had to wear glasses. After those 6 weeks, her vision was returned and she didn't have to wear the glasses anymore. Someone else listening to that same exact transmission opened up their spiritual gifts. So it really works with where you are vibrationally and what you need. It's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. I'm just thinking I need some of that. But of course, I just want to say, anyone that's listening, all your details will be in the show notes for people to connect with you.
Yeah. And I also want to say that, it's great for people to have an intention with the work, but I try not to assign an action to the transmissions. So in the past, I would say, you know, we're going to do a heart opening one. But then I started realizing that, geez, this work does so many things. And if I just tell someone that it's opening their heart, then that's all they're going to focus on. And someone might say, well, oh, my heart's already open, I don't really need that. And then they're blocking themselves from getting everything that can actually happen with the work. So I just want to, it's best to be open.
Right. Because sometimes the conscious mind overrides the healing, I guess.
Yeah, it can happen.
And I mean, I think I know this, but the language, that the light language, it's not like you understand it like we're having a conversation now.
Right.
You might understand the intention, but not the actual words or the
Right.
syllables or the sounds.
Yeah, like some people they'll get a download and they'll say, oh, I know exactly what that meant or exactly what that was for. And if they get that information, then that's great. They were meant to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want the humans to just like relax and receive. And I don't translate it at all, but the body knows. The body knows exactly what it's saying, and that's why it's affecting your cells, and it's affecting every part of your being. So the body responds, whether our conscious minds understand or not.
And this relates to it. What is Akasha? I mean, everyone, oh, not everyone, but I obviously know very well what the Akashic records are. But what is Akasha?
So it's your past, present, future, those timelines, pains, traumas, tragedies, life events, emotions, thoughts. Those records are like an energetic library, so to speak, is the way I understand them. I only know how my work works within those because it's clearing those programs, patterns, limiting beliefs, lower vibrational timelines that we're running. You know, you ever notice how sometimes you might date the same type of person over and over and over, and it's not usually someone that's good for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we have to clear that. So when we're clearing within the records, then it allows to transmute that timeline and open up new timelines. So then you stop that pattern. Or it could be with abundance. You know, sometimes we have money blocks throughout families. You know, it could be generation after generation after generation. And so it can work to clear those blocks.
Sounds amazing. I can't wait. My question is, and I find this with all my incredible guests on the show, but they really, like you, I can tell you, you trust yourself, you believe in your gifts, which you do have, but I guess it's about coming out. When you first started channeling these languages, did you think you were maybe going a little bit crazy or a bit peculiar?
Yeah,
How did it happen?
It's really crazy the way it happened. I wasn't really open so much to this kind of conversation. I really wasn't. I was very 3D at that point in my life. I hate to use that term, but that's how I was. I was very caught up in the matrix. Yeah. And I was really going through a hard time. I kind of got hit over the head with everything in 1 week. I was a week before Christmas. I lost my job of 20 some years.
Wow.
I lived to work. I didn't really have a life outside of work. It was all about working, and I was pretty much a hermit. So I lost my main thing in my life. The relationship that I had ended, and my dog, who was like my best friend because I was a hermit. I know that sounds so pathetic when I say it.
No, it doesn't.
My dog got diagnosed with a serious illness. So everything was just like, oh my gosh. And this happened right before the holidays. So I was really in victim mode, and I got myself together and I just started focusing on self-love. And that's really what kind of opened the doors for me. I had started taking Reiki for myself, not to work with other people, but just to manage stress and all that. And I kept asking the universe, so what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I know it's not Reiki, but I know it's something to help people. And I just kept asking that question. And I found myself at this event a few months later, and I met this woman, and she said, oh, I speak light language. I had no idea what it was. She spoke a sentence to me, and I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. I feel like I know this, but she didn't explain it. So I didn't really know details. I just thought, wow, this sounds really cool. And I feel like I know it. I went home that night and woke up at like 2 a.m. singing it at the top of my lungs. And I couldn't stop it. I was thinking like, wow, what am I saying? Like, how am I saying this? And these languages were just flowing. And from that moment on, I couldn't leave my house basically for a week because my mouth would fly open at any given moment. It was like a force that you could not control. And so I would feel it kind of start right here, and it would just start to get smaller and then bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And it was just like boom, and my mouth would fly open and I would just start talking, and it would go on for 30, 40 minutes at a time all day long. And so I was getting activation after activation and clearing after clearing. And I was crying terribly when I was speaking, but it was like a release. So releasing things that I had carried for so long, and also a remembering, because then I was like, wow, I'm remembering this gift that I had before. And that's why when I heard her speak it, I knew how familiar it was. So it was just all these emotions. And as I was speaking them, I just started feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And during that time, my body was vibrating for days and weeks and months. And I got literally catapulted into bliss and joy and love. And I had no more fear, no more worry, no more doubt, no more questions, no more concerns. It was just this overall bliss. And I would walk outside and cry because I could hear like nature talking, and the colors were more vibrant and everything looked a little more dreamy. And I felt like I was floating, and I just was literally on another planet or in this higher dimension. Or it was amazing, and it was overwhelming and beautiful.
What
And
a beautiful story. That's just incredible, incredible.
yeah, I still, like, when I talk about it, I want to cry because it was, and I had no one to talk to about it really, because how do you explain this? I could barely leave my house because like my mouth would fly open. So I would time it, right? So if I had an outburst, I would know, okay, I've got about an hour to go do something. So I would go outside and like take note if I'm going to start, okay, there's a corner I can run to if my mouth's going to fly open, or there's a tree I can duck behind. And I had to do that for like 3 months. I was getting this flow of energy that would go through my crown all day long, along with the languages. It would just move through me and come out my feet. It would jolt my body. And so I was buzzing, speaking, having these jolts. And I was like, I have to control something. I feel like I can't control anything. So I decide I'm going to put a hat on my head and try and stop this cosmic energy.
A physical hat.
Yes,
Okay.
I did. It was like the middle of July. It's 90 degrees out, and I'm trying to walk around with a hat on my head to stop this cosmic energy from pouring into my crown. Yeah, I was a mess.
So did it work?
No.
But I guess as time moved on, you had the ability to control it.
Yeah, it started to get easier and easier. About probably month 3, it started to get easier. And during that time, like I said, like that first week, I didn't really know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember my frequency, like I said, was so high. One day I got home And I had left the TV on for my dog. I specifically remember I had like a 15-hour Abraham Hicks speech on there because
I
I
love
like it.
Abraham.
And I was like, I want good energy in the house, so I'll just leave Abraham on for her. And I walk into the house, and like I said, my body is like buzzing and all sensitive to energy. And all of a sudden, my lights turn out, the TV turns off, and my cell phone turns off. And I'm a little frustrated because I was trying to send a text. And eventually I get the cell back on, and it's typing by itself, and it's typing all these zeros and ones. And back then I had no idea what that was. And so I'm like, I don't understand what this is. And I finally clear it, and I'm able to send a text. And then I'm like, oh, okay, have to turn the TV back on. And when I turn the TV back on, there's a different YouTube channel on, and on the screen, there's a picture of Sedona, and it just says, Barbara Marciniak channels the Pleiadians. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I just shut the TV off because I was like, wow, like I realized in that moment that these are galactics, and that's what these languages are for. And here they are contacting me and telling me to look at this show on the television. And it's just a lot.
Were you a little bit freaked out when this scenario occurred?
Yes, I was totally freaked out. I shut the TV off instantly, and I just kind of sat there, and I knew I was supposed to watch this, but I was just like, I am not watching this right now. I just cannot deal with this right now.
You had to compose yourself, but you weren't scared at all. You weren't fearful at all. Okay.
No, I wasn't fearful. I had so many physical things going on with me that this was just like another thing added to all this overwhelming stuff that I was already experiencing. So it took me a few days, and then I thought, okay, let's watch this. Let's do some research.
And obviously this is a while ago, but I guess it's hard to explain because you're probably used to it. How does your body feel when the sensations, obviously you're resonating at a very high level, but when you're channeling this light language, what does it feel like? If you can put it in words.
When I'm bringing the languages through, it feels very loving to me. I just feel love. I don't often recall the languages because I am in a kind of a translate state, and many times they'll speak through me, so my voice might change, but it always feels very loving and gentle and kind. In the beginning, it felt different because this was all new to me. So I felt a lot of energy, and it could be very overwhelming for me at times, but I'm used to it now. So.
Okay. My question is, and this is probably, I don't even know if you can answer it, but how do you do it? How some people prepare and meditate and fast, but how do you channel these light languages?
I feel like I have almost like a collective or a team with me, right? That help me. I just close my eyes and take a few deep breaths, and then I just kind of disconnect, and they bring it through. So it's nothing I have to really think so much about. It kind of happens. I just set the intention to connect, and it happens.
So almost that they're always there. It's just when you choose to bring them through.
Yeah. My beings kind of shift. In the beginning, they were the Pleiadians, and then now the Sirians have really stepped through, and they're pretty much my main peeps because I call them my gatekeepers. So they pull in the different beings who need to come through in any transmission. So they're like kind of minding the channel and only bringing through the most benevolent, loving beings for each transmission. So they're my main peeps, but they can access whoever needs to get involved.
And how do you know it's the Pleiadians or the Sirians? Do you see them? Do you see what they look like with your mind's eye, or do they? In the
beginning, I did. Because I was so heightened. I'm not naturally a seer, but in that state, I was seeing a lot. And when they put the message on my television, that was like, okay, Pleiadians are
Mm.
here. And also too, in the beginning, because I didn't know what was going on, I sought out help from people in the field and just different channelers to kind of explain to me what was going on and who I'm working with, and how did this all happen, which relates back to my off-planet work, right? So I learned, and totally makes sense. Anybody who knows me, I've learned that I'm a new human. I've only been here twice. This is my second time, and but over off planet, I've had many lifetimes there, and I was doing this same thing there, working with the frequencies and dealing with different intergalactic beings, and that's why I have that open access, because it carries over.
I'm just digesting what you just said. So when you say off planet, so not on Earth,
Right.
which is quite
Right.
obvious, but I'm just clarifying.
Yeah. So, my Earth lifetimes are small. Like I said, this is number 2 for me, but multidimensional lifetimes are many. And so, throughout my travels, I had learned this, actually through it, one channeler, actually 2 channelers told me this. So I had lifetime in the Pleiades, and that's probably why they showed up first when this all started. And so, this was back when, back in the ancient Pleiadian times, and a lot of these races didn't exist at that time that I'm currently channeling. So the ancients and the Anunnaki lent some of their DNA to create some of these races. And so once these races evolved, they started realizing that they were tapping into their DNA and experiencing things that weren't harmonious to their expansion as a race. They were actually tapping into stuff that the ancient Pleiadians and the Anunnakis had already moved through and cleared as a race. So the ancient Pleiadians realized that it wasn't necessary for them to tap into the DNA and connect with that negative stuff, because the positive stuff was in the DNA too, and that they could connect to that as well. And so that's where I came in. I traveled the multigalactic universe studying this and researching this. And through my travels, I had many interactions with different intergalactic beings. And so I learned their languages. And what I found was that these languages were embedded within that positive information in that DNA. And by exposing a being to these different frequencies from the different dimensions and from the different beings, it would bring that positive information up and in turn transmute that negative timeline information. And so that's how it clears, if that makes sense.
It does. I'm just I'm just taking it all in. So you've always been would you call yourself a healer?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I often call myself a linguist because of all the different languages, but yeah, that's what it's doing. It's ultimately, I think sometimes when we think of healer, we think of physical body, and, for us on earth, we're physical beings. So a lot of people are having physical issues. So yes, it does work with that. But I think the broader picture is that it's aligning you. It's aligning you to your divinity and to who you are and to your divine blueprint. And when you raise your vibration and you align to that, you can't hold those lower frequencies. And so those lower frequency timelines, they clear. And you start to experience better health, more abundance, less lack. It's just so healer, aligner. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Whatever resonates.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily talking about the physical, but so the beings off Earth also require your services.
Well, if you think about it, so all races have evolved, and at one point or another, they were in places where we were as a collective. And so, yeah, they eventually moved through those experiences and ascended as a race. And that's what we're doing. We are ultimately, the earth is changing so rapidly, and the planet is ascending, and people are starting to ascend. And actively trying to, and then physically things are happening, energies are coming through, and it's adjusting people. And so the ultimate goal is, as we ascend, we align to why we came here, and our truth, and our divine essence, in the truth of who we are. And so when everybody is operating from that space and in their uniqueness, the whole planet ascends. So yes, those other races did go through that, and now they are highly evolved beings because of that.
And just back to your words about ascension, everyone's talking about ascension. What is, in your opinion, what is ascension?
Well, I just look at it as that you're expanding your consciousness. You're moving from a lower frequency to a higher frequency. Third dimensional things start to not be a part of your individual universe anymore. You start having higher vibrational thoughts. You start acting more aligned to love and truth, and brotherly love, sisterly love. It's expanding your awareness, your consciousness. It's expanding your frequency, because you are adjusting energetically. And the planet does it too. The planet goes through changes. We go through changes, and we need to adjust our frequency to kind of move with the frequency of the planet. And some people aren't.
So the process of ascension, or the path of ascension, is still being a human on Earth, but resonating at a higher frequency.
Yeah, and embodying your divinity, and embodying that frequency. When you embody that frequency, your thought process changes. It's about being of service and helping people, and it's not so much me, what do I need, what do I want. It's about just helping others, but also to it's okay to want things. It's just not your focus. You have a different focus.
Thank you for clarifying that, because there's so many people that talk about ascension and the end of the Earth and the galactic. So it's just not a very clear terminology that a lot of people use with different meanings.
No, that's just how I see it. Mm-hmm. That's what feels right for me. And
that feels right for me too.
Yeah. So.
Wonderful. So what else would you like to talk about with our audience?
Let me think. Got any questions for me?
I'm dying to hear your beautiful light frequencies.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Yeah. How much time do I have for it?
As much time as you want.
Okay. All right. So shall we do it?
Up to you. Sure. I'm passionately excited.
Yeah, let's do some.
Don't worry about time.
Okay, cool. So for everyone listening, and for you as well, I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes, get in a relaxed state, and we're going to do a little breathing just to get you heart-centered. So I want you to take a big, deep breath in, and you can put your hand on your heart if that helps, and just exhale. And as you exhale, you're just going to release everything that no longer serves or supports you. And when you breathe into your heart on this next big, deep breath, just feel love and joy and gratitude in your heart. And just exhaling, releasing, relaxing. And on the next big, deep breath in, I want you to picture a ball of brilliant light right above your crown. And this light can be any color you choose. And this light is your connection to the cosmos and to the truth of who you are. You're all-knowing. And just bring that light into your crown and feel that move through your crown, and feel the energy moving through. On the next big deep breath in, as that light moves down the back of your head, down your spine, and it stops right behind your heart. And just feel into your heart again, feeling love. If you want to picture a person, a pet, that you have unconditional love for, put their image in your heart and just see them there and feel their energy move through you. And just exhale. And now this light behind your heart moves into your heart, and it's filling your heart with love and joy and your divinity. And on the next big deep breath in, your heart opens, and this light wraps around you, wraps around your entire body, and fills the floor, the ceiling, and the walls, and you are fully surrounded with divine love and light. And now this light continues down your torso, down your legs, and out your feet, grounding you into the earth, going all the way down into the earth. You are connected in both directions to the cosmos and to the earth, and to divine love. And just continue breathing. Don't focus on anything but your breath, relaxing. And I'll connect with the guides. I, Velentaya Reece, ask our guides to surround us with love and light as we do this work. I ask that everybody receive divine frequencies for their highest good and healing. And we ask that all interferences, known and unknown, seen and unseen, are cleared from all planes, all times, all levels of consciousness, all dimensions, and from every cell of your being, effective immediately. Asking that you receive everything you need in this moment, and thanking the guides in advance. We are so grateful. And just take another big deep breath in. And relax and receive. Ekonota sa ikamba yika, aikalu atuna itai soluta, keshodra yi dahikanaive, ubro atikanikado, leheda istave lo ukandin, naive do undave kobradave, vishtavo tranasa nikadai ket aila, dako rusado batimbai ambado, yakadai nikide, dikade atutai kafo prata sapato, nakstevo, nikenevo dono undo rochi, to fruka dambada, dehiga navato, yandai kolodadea vibraya sigadu futu sayori, ana neheke nesada rahati, javo hi tala, jazida sa ana uki, bohika do alovo bra yamba sagura adai, ne akanda kadea bohika do solo, Udora bon an odo do hado fu abodo kide nuyaju behakyan dasle disto dushta mahakire di digre itita do tore soko bro itavu doro tamato bra ikiteveto sutoroki donoto do kademanekida nesate ache atsi to ve kobradi no roti se barabia to fa kene chtiana na kere bere bidu de karabia de boru de suku proeto do rapido do oto utikabaria di ambari bia kushtu ve atiko barabi as well be as basle vetu hai havakara taviahania Piuida Davide Adisa no rova du vavi Meodo agi avado niano andovo karabi debi niano donda be akishukarabe niandoro etuparabi abiotu sto favelo korabde urosa proba kibarabdendo iktashta kepetika dekshista kashtako nakde hekete ishtako barakista ikneshti aknekutu nakneshta kota ikanakte so ukanakete ikrape ikin akin akuno o vorado rodo brade bodon don de aduda de do brada do ayana karando ya toro tabi kanda ya vi ombari adorado stavo katabayakian, nekneha pumbaki manekandia, no hukrada asikrase bi astovu, miananaya buleaha, neheko shuta ase ekadu ani kutosa, niktuto atudo ahaki, no uchtavel akubarapo oso du a puye kenana, no korodo te hika no san ahado, Dafi ut aselekatato to an ia tekana akadore akoba an otasi ate sotokarapi atoda tata ne an akorapi neta nekadebe abodo soto rotepe kasi baranene ekulora akade etekura atutukati de etitida atutu ati an Duyadara yatakuraba ni ananana akita mdorapitika tada akishiko utaka nuya nikata amiya asloko tarapikisa tastoti tarakite taketa baraku inikdasi sasale asikoyoraya taslo bayana te Huikte aset dai kesevadu bite nika ika ise taisele. Take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, take that light that's you're holding in your heart and now just move that down your torso again, down your legs and out your feet, grounding you back into the earth, moving all the way down the earth. Another big deep breath in, letting the frequencies integrate and thanking all the guides that were here today to deliver these frequencies. We are so grateful. We ask that everyone's shifts are done with love and ease and grace and joy, and that your results are permanent, profound, and more than what you could have ever hoped for above and beyond. We are so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And take another big deep breath in. And exhale, and just open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Wow.
How do you feel?
Very blissful.
Nice.
So yes, I'm just trying to communicate now. Where were those languages coming from? If you can call them languages.
I can't remember them all because I'm kind of out of it. I felt earth energies coming through. I felt Sirians coming through. I felt Andromedan coming through. And there's probably so much more because they intertwine and sometimes turn into like a hybrid language. Right. Some of them are beings that I don't even have a name for. I have this group of jolly little beings that are with me a lot, and many people see them. People who are visual can see them. More than one person has said, oh, who are these little beings? So they're kind of, I call them Teletubby-ish, but not really. Right. But they're very joyful, and they're here a lot. I feel like they kind of hold down the fort when I'm doing it. So I think their frequencies come through too.
Yes, because I mean, it doesn't sound anything like you. I mean, it's not something you could make up. Not that you are, but you know, it just something completely different that's coming out of you.
Trust me, I've had friends tell me, I tried to do what you do and I know you're not making it up.
Like, yeah, you were just making it up.
That'd be funny to watch, actually.
No, that was incredible. So in regards to the earth energies or the earth language, only because I'm particularly interested in that, how does it feel different?
In my body
or in your body, or what's the difference between galactic language or earth language?
Oh, I don't really know if it's earth language. I more so, it's just a frequency that the galactics are bringing through in a very frequency of the earth. So like that shamanic tribal kind of sound. I know that the beings, I've channeled them before, they're the divine ones, which are like ancient earth beings, ancient plant medicine beings. And I believe they're them. I have somewhat of a connection to that
And they feel very different to the galactic beings.
Seems like it.
And they sound different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're still speaking a language, but it's more, it always comes in a deep voice from what I can recall.
Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know what to say now. I'm so blissed out. That was just incredible.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I can't wait to replay that.
Oh yeah, and you can listen to it more than once. I tell people, even when they're doing a session with me, multiple listens are great because you're going to just keep unfolding. There's always something to bring in, and we're constantly vibrating differently. So you may listen to it one time, and the next time you listen to it, you'll get something else out of it. I've had people say that they can feel it on their bodies many times. Like one time they'll listen, they'll feel it on a particular area. Maybe that's an area that they have some issues with, and then they might feel it somewhere else. Then they might just, the next time they listen, just feel blissful or joyful. It seems to always be different.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your light with Passion Harvest and with the world. It was really incredible.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. And I guess since this is a show about passion or purpose or whatever you'd like to call it, I like to ask if someone's looking to find their passion or their purpose in life or their joy or their bliss, what advice could you give them?
Wow. I would say, based on my own experience, look within and start with just love and loving yourself and disconnecting from external. A lot of times we're seeking for this and seeking for that, and you really do have everything you need. It's just taking the time to connect with that and to go inside, and that's when the doors opened up for me. Is really taking time for me and focusing on me and empowering myself.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And again, if anyone would like to connect with Velentaya, all your details will be in the show notes. So thank you so much for being on Passion Harvest.
Thank you for having me.
And being so open and honest and expressing yourself so beautifully.
Oh, of course. It was my pleasure. And thank you for introducing me to your audience.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.